next on AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Brian O'Neill.
We're glad to have with us here in segment one, Republican Marge Byrnes. Marge is running for the 133rd State Assembly seat that's currently occupied by Republican Joe Arrigo. Marge is from Caledonia over in Livingston County. Thank you for joining us this morning, Marge.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you and your listeners.
Well, what we know so far about you is that, and we've been seeing it on the news, is that you were a Rochester City Court judge. Don't know too much else. If you could give us some bio and background information, that would be great.
Oh, absolutely. I was born and raised in the city of Rochester and lived until I was in my early 40s in Monroe County. I've been an attorney I'm 57 years old right now. I've been an attorney for 32 years. During my career, I worked as a Monroe County Assistant District Attorney for 7 years, and I prosecuted violent felonies and homicide offenses. I even prosecuted a defendant who was on New York State's 12 Most Wanted list, who was captured in Georgia and extradited back to our state. And he's currently still serving time on a murder sentence. For 10 years, I was an elected Rochester City Court judge. As City Court judge, you handle both criminal and civil matters, and over that 10-year period, literally thousands and thousands of cases that I presided over. Most recently, I was a law clerk, or they call it technically court attorney, to Judge Dennis Cohen. He's a Livingston County Court judge, also acting Supreme Court judge. There, I researched any legal issues, wrote decisions, and dealt with many residents and citizens who came into the courthouse needing help, either with civil, criminal, or family court matters. I retired about a year ago from the state court system, and I'm currently a Caledonia Village trustee.
Marge Byrnes, what made you want to get into the race for the 133rd State Assembly seat?
Well, there's a few reasons. First, I'm 57, as I mentioned, and I've got a lot of time and energy. My opponent is only interested in running for 2 years and out. He has told that to everybody. I'm in a position where I can run for the seat and hold it for many years into the future to ensure that it stays a conservative Republican seat. Also, there's a very few conservative Republican women that are in the Assembly. I know that Albany could benefit from having a little more gender diversity with not just a female, but a conservative Republican female to express the points of view of this district. When I was in ADA, I learned how to be an advocate for things I believed in, and as a judge, I learned how to make good decisions and judgments. And I believe that these qualities of being an advocate and being a good decision maker will make me very beneficial to the Republican Party in Albany. Just a couple other things. I know that I can represent everyone in the district. I grew up in Rochester and in Monroe County, so I understand the urban environment. I've lived in Caledonia now for many, many years, and have gotten to enjoy the rural community and all the benefits it has to offer. And lastly, one of the main concerns I have is about Second Amendment rights. In my spare time, I am an avid outdoor enthusiast, and in particular, I'm a skeet and trap shooter. I also shoot sporting clays, and I've been to the Southern Tier for shooting events. A while back, I was at an event at Addison, Fish and Game, where at a registered skeet shoot, I actually had 97 out of 100 targets, and they actually won my division that day. I've also shot sporting clays at Bath Rod and Gun. I'm a member of the Mount Morris Sportsman's Club, the Canisius Lake Sportsman's Club, Rochester Brooks. I'm a member of SCOPE and the NRA. And in amongst my travels, there's conversations all the time between myself and good, responsible gun owners as to what's needed in the state to preserve hunting, to preserve our sports, and I pledge to be a strong advocate for Second Amendment rights.
Talking to Marge Byrnes, the Republican hopeful for the 133rd State Assembly District. She's hoping to run against Republican Assemblyman Joe Arrigo in a primary. Not sure if the Democrats have a candidate there yet. Last time around it was a Monroe County Democrat named Barbara Baer. Looking at the map, you've got a little bit of Monroe County and a little bit of, I'm talking about the district map for the 133rd Assembly District. A little bit of Monroe County, a little bit of Steuben County, and a lot of Livingston County. Your thoughts on the race and your strategy for winning against Joe Arrigo there, Marge Byrnes?
Well, when I asked the Livingston County Republican Party for their support and endorsement and sat down with individual committee members and discussed my qualifications, how long I hope to be in the seat, again, not just 2 years and out, but into the future, I was overwhelmingly supported in in Livingston County. I had more than twice as many votes as my next opponent, who is the incumbent. So I really do believe that this district wants to look for the future, but they also want a conservative Republican. So as I travel into Steuben County and meet with people at the farm bureaus and the farmers and all the other members of the community, I'm very confident that they will think as highly of me as the Livingston County Republican Party did when it chose to endorse me and support me.
Talking with Marge Byrnes, Caledonia, Livingston County Republican, who's in the running for the Joe Arrigo seat, the 133rd Assembly seat. I wanted to get your thoughts on some of the big issues, starting out with wind and solar.
Well, there's obviously a lot of proposed projects currently down in Steuben County, as well as Allegheny and I believe Cattaraugus, for windmills. And I know that there are issues that are surrounding them. Obviously, some of these projects can provide a tremendous economic benefit to the communities, especially struggling communities. They can generate jobs and bring tangential benefits, like money coming into other area businesses, and obviously the property owners who lease their land receive money, which is a tremendous benefit to them. I'm also aware, though, that many in the community oppose them because they're concerned about the effect on their property values, the noise, just generally being an eyesore, and things of that nature. Ultimately, every project that's proposed has to be evaluated on its own merit. It's important for the town boards and the community to know the company that wants to do the building, its safety record, what the details are of any plan. While I know there are issues about noise now, changing technology may make those issues a little less in the future as technology changes and hopefully those noise issues become resolved. Ultimately, every community has to decide what's right for it. In some communities, it's worked out wonderfully and has been a phenomenal economic benefit. And in others, there are people that are very upset, and I can certainly understand why. But again, ultimately, the community has to decide what's right for it.
Another big issue has been Common Core and Common Core reform. Can you give us your thoughts there?
Well, with the schools, I just think that I grew up in an age where these types of things and mandates didn't exist, and I think it's unfortunate because again, every community has its own standards, and not that there shouldn't be certainly common levels of education and knowledge among our youth and people being educated in our communities. But I think to require certain levels of understanding and education would be wrong. And I think that, again, our local communities should be more in charge of deciding what's right for them.
And how about taxes, Marge Byrnes, the Livingston County Republican hopeful for the 133rd Assembly District? Your thoughts on taxes in New York State and upstate?
Well, obviously, we don't like taxes. Everybody has to pay them, and nobody likes paying them. And taxes come in every form, from the tank of gas you put in your vehicle, to the property you own, to what you buy at stores. But obviously it's a necessity in order to keep some levels of government in operation and funded. But one of the main issues is when the state passes legislation that requires our local communities to do a certain thing, but then doesn't fund what they're requiring. Basically, unfunded mandates. And that presents a tremendous burden on our towns and our villages and our schools. It can be something that appears to be relatively simple, like right now there's going to be a requirement that school buses on the stop arm have cameras so that anyone who illegally passes a school bus will be filmed and can be prosecuted. Major safety issue, and we certainly don't want any students to be injured. But the state is going to require it, but then they're not giving any money, so the school district will have to incur that cost. In upstate New York, we all know in the wintertime, electronic equipment outside on the roads with the salt, it's going to have major maintenance issues. So that ultimately, even though while it seems relatively small, is going to be a cost. And that's only a small one of the many that are foisted down on us. So when I'm in Albany, it doesn't matter what the issue is. If it's taking youths out of the criminal justice system and putting them into family court, whatever the issue is, costs that are foisted on our local communities, I will absolutely oppose.
Just about out of time, down to about 60 seconds with you, Marge Byrnes. Any final thoughts?
Absolutely. I really think the school safety and having armed resource officers in the future is going to be something we have to look at. I think there should be an emphasis on mental health counseling in our schools because of the pressures of our modern society that has put such intense pressure on young people. I also think that local roads need to be a major priority, both CHIPS, Pave New York, Bridge New York. Local governments own and maintain about 87% of the roads in the state. But, for example, bridges owned by local governments need $27 billion in repairs. So that is a major issue to avoid horrible infrastructure problems. And our farms. The state Senate has come up with a phenomenal list of proposed legislation called Growing Strong to try to remove burdensome regulations and a number of other things to assist farmers. And I've read through the legislation. I'm all on board. And I'll be meeting with the farmers, and I'll be down in the next few weeks to meet with the Steuben Farm Bureau and discuss some of this with them and get their points of view. And I just want to get to Albany and be a strong advocate for absolutely everyone in the 133rd District.
Marge Byrnes, I want to thank you very much for joining us here in segment 1 of Newsmaker.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and your listeners.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Want your vehicle looking just like it did when you drove it out of the dealership? Then stop by RBS Auto Detailing on Canisteo and Pine Streets in Hornell. RBS Auto Detailing. The before and after photos of your vehicle won't come close to showing the great job they'll do for you. Cleaning, washing, and waxing. They can get your vehicle looking nice and new both inside and out. RBS Auto Detailing on the corner of Canastillo and Pine Streets in Hornell.
The annual open house at Country View Crafts in Belmont is coming up on Friday and Saturday, June 1st and 2nd. Amish-made items are their specialty. Check out their gift shop items. You'll find fine oak furniture, tables, chairs, hutches, end tables, coffee tables, bedroom furniture, rhythm clocks, hickory rockers, primitive accents, decorative doilies, and hunter specialties, turkey, crow, deer, and elk calls. For your outdoor interest, they have deck furniture such as gliders, porch swings, and picnic tables, also storage sheds, windmills, and flower planters, gazebos, and much, much more. And they now have gift cards available. Come and stroll around. Join them for homemade ice cream. Check out details for their customer appreciation drawing. They'll be giving away a 5-foot lawn glider. You could be a winner. Mark your calendars. The annual open house Friday and Saturday, June 1st and 2nd, 9:30 a.m. till 8 p.m. at Country View Crafts, 3008 State Route 244 in Belmont. They'll be closed May 28th through May 31st in preparation for the open house.
Say good morning to meteorologist Rob Carolyn. Hey, Rob, what's up weather-wise?
Oh, not a lot, Brian. We got a gorgeous start to the day. Satellite photos this morning showing clear skies from Buffalo to Albany to New York City, all the way up, to Detroit, and then on into central Ontario. We've got high pressure building in across the area this morning, and it's going to be a beautiful day. Abundant sunshine, just a few fair weather clouds popping up. Temperatures will be somewhere between 75 and 80 if you get the chance. Get out and enjoy it today. Should be pretty quiet tonight. Clear skies. We're going to drop down to about 55. We have sun in the forecast for tomorrow as well. Looks like high pressure is going to start to shift off to our east, and that's going to start to allow us to warm up as we get closer to the Memorial Day weekend. I think we'll be looking at temperatures tomorrow very close to 85. Tomorrow night, we're going to be clear to partly cloudy. Lows will be 60 to 65. Then on Saturday, partial sun, the threat of a shower or a thunderstorm in the afternoon, warm and humid, 85 to 90. May see a shower or a thunderstorm come through Sunday afternoon and Monday afternoon as well, but we'll also enjoy partial sunshine right through Memorial Day. Brian, sunrise this morning was at 5:41. Sunset this evening at 8:34.
Well, it's the Newsmaker Show on AM 1480 WLEA. We put out 2 requests to have Assemblyman Joe Arrigo on today's show as well. Was hoping to interview both Marge Byrnes and Joe Arrigo in the same show. We put out a request Monday for the Assemblyman and again one yesterday. And we did not hear back from him. Whenever he does respond, we'll get him right on. It's AM 1480 WLEA now, getting back to Matt Ray.